Please, Netflix, for the love of God, stop shoving this down our throats. Hi, I'm Zach, and welcome to Not Great, Not Terrible, the show where we review mediocre movies from the not-so-distant past. Or in this case, movies from 4 weeks ago. Today, we're taking a look at The Old Guard, a Netflix original action movie that released on July 10th, 2020. And for once, I'm not being sarcastic with that movie genre. Action is the one and only thing this movie does pretty well. Oh, and I'm joined today by my script guru, who has a few of her own thoughts on this. So the movie starts out with our main dudes lying dead on the floor. Except they're not, because there's still 2 hours of movie left. We then start to meet main characters, like badass Amazon chick, undead Marine, Farmer Zuckerberg, ex-CIA fixer dude, and these 3 other side dudes who I keep mixing up in my head. At least one of them is French? Maybe? Honestly, unless you speak it or are good with accents, you don't know he's French until 3/4 of the way through the movie.
I knew.
Yeah, but you speak French!
I didn't need to know that to know he was French.
But, okay. But yeah, they're hired to do a thing by ex-CIA dude, but the thing is a setup, and they all get murderized with far more bullets than necessary. Except they're not dead, because there's still an hour 50 left. Oh yeah, and did I mention they're somewhat immortal? That's a thing. Anyways, they kill everyone, but oh no, Farmer Bro now knows they exist and wants to capture them for some very morally questionable research things. But first, live Marine becomes dead Marine becomes undead Marine. So badass chick goes and kidnaps her. Then undead Marine tries to escape and is shot in the back of the head by badass chick, which is such an obvious solution, I don't know how I didn't think of it before. There's an obligatory action scene in an airplane, they land in France. There's a flashback, and then oh shit, another action scene, but this time with one of the immortal dudes seeming like he actually might die. But plot twist, he doesn't, because there's still an hour 10 left in the movie. Anyways, badass chick kills all the soldier dudes, but 2 of the generic immortals get kidnapped by Farmer Dude's goons. Apparently these 2 are in love with each other?
You didn't notice this in several scenes where it was mentioned? Are you sure you actually watched this movie?
I'm pretty sure I watched. That's about the only trait I was able to glean from their characters.
Also, they slip into 11th century Italian a lot.
Do you think I speak 11th century Italian?
No, but I do.
Of course you do. So there's a rescue plan, but oh no, French side dude is a traitor and betrays badass chick, who's apparently no longer immortal.
Again, did you miss the multiple scenes where it tells you this power can run out at any moment?
No, I didn't. I'm just kind of choosing to ignore that. It just feels like a lazy plot device. Anyways, Undead Marine goes and does another rescue mission to rescue the people from the failed rescue mission. There's an action scene where a shitload of goons die and a shitload of undeads don't die. Farmer Dude gets pushed off a building, and everyone lives happily ever after. Except for side dude number 1, he's exiled for betrayal. I guess that's a punishment?
100 years exiled from your closest friends, totally on your own, dealing with PTSD and depression, and knowing that one of your best friends is going to die and this is the last time that you will ever see them again, isn't enough of a punishment for you?
I'll have to get back to you on that one. Oh yeah, and they set it up for a sequel. Hooray! So really, The Old Guard is just a generic action movie, but with the added bonus that most of these dicks can't die.
Except they can at any random moment because the gods are utter dastards.
Yeah, but it still feels like a lazy plot device. This really takes away any and all suspense from the film for me. Since the characters aren't really facing any stakes, there's no reason for us to form any major attachment to them. The characters lack depth for the most part and are just kinda there. There are some solid performances on display from the actors, but the roles set out for them to play don't have enough substance to really make them work. Take for example the main character, Andy. The only reason her character is even remotely compelling is because it's played by Charlize Theron, who's excellent at this kind of action stuff. But that's like putting Tom Hanks into a biographical movie. He's gonna play the character well, but he can't make bad writing or plot any better. The plot itself ranges from unremarkable to just downright stupid. There was quite a lot of sitting around and talking that just felt like generic filler, just checking plot boxes. The villain was pretty generic, just an off-brand Martin Shkreli. There's not really anything that makes this movie stand out. Even now, sitting at my computer writing this review, I'm struggling to remember any of my impressions from the film, even though I just watched it yesterday. That's not a good sign. This movie was so unremarkable that I can barely find anything good or bad to say about it. It just leaves me underwhelmed and I can't quite put my finger on why. With how much Netflix was pushing this, honestly, I expected more. Instead, it's really just kind of 2 hours of movie.
Script Guru here. Normally my actual comments are just snarky remarks made to Zach when I'm writing this, who, by the way, completely forgot to really touch on the action scenes, of which we can both agree were the best things about this movie. The weapons were incredibly historically accurate, with Andromache still using a double-bladed axe called a labrys, which is basically the traditional weapon of the Amazons and the Greek goddesses. She also moves fluidly from several ancient fighting styles, such as the deadly Greek form of wrestling called pankration, to aikido, to modern room clearing techniques. Most of the characters handle modern machinery and weapons quite well. The only real immersion breaking part for me being the fact that Andy uses a sword in one hand and a pistol in the other. If you have never shot a pistol or a handgun before, you wouldn't know about the kick. The kick is the force that comes after pulling the trigger and forces the gun upwards, and if you aren't careful, smack into your face. The more powerful the gun, the more powerful the kick. Why does that matter? Because this includes someone with both feet on the ground and both hands on the gun, moving, fighting with a sword in one hand, dodging bullets, and using only one hand to pull the trigger, steady the gun, and aim it. Yeah, no, not gonna happen. Everything else, though, it's rather solid, with each progressively younger character using more of a modern style, with Nile, Undead Marine, using mostly MMA when engaging in hand-to-hand combat, which she does the least out of anyone.
Anyways, so do I recommend you watch this film? It's a solid maybe from me.
And a yes from me!
As is the trend with Not Great, Not Terrible, it's not necessarily a bad film. It's got some solid action scenes, and that's about it. If you just want something to put on the TV and kill 2 hours, sure, go right ahead. But if you want to sit down and watch a genuinely good action movie, this ain't it, Chief.
Quasi-serious here. Did we watch the same movie?
I think so. Anyways, I've been Zach, and this has been Not Great, Not Terrible. Thanks for watching. While we're here, I'd like to give a shout out to my friend Jenny, the script guru and budding English literature professor. You actually got to hear from her for the first time in this video, which was fun. She's been helping me with all my more in-depth video projects for the past several months, and these turds would be a lot less polished without her. I'd also like to give a heads up that I'll probably be making these videos a bit less often from now on. I've been feeling a bit of creative burnout, and I still want to be able to put my full effort into them. I also might branch out into movies that are actually good for a change. Hope that's not a problem. The only reason her character is remotely compelling is because it's played by How the f*** do you say that name? And just checking flot boxes. The show where we review mediocre movies from the quiet on set. That doesn't work. Okay.
I was literally biting my tongue and I couldn't even do that. Are you okay?
We'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. I'm so close to being done.